Sometimes you gotta have uncomfortable conversations, man. It might be one of the toughest things you have to do. Having an uncomfortable conversation. It could be about relationships. It could be about friendships. It could be conversations with yourself. You can't avoid uncomfortable conversations because it's how we grow. And then a lot of times, uncomfortable conversations are the only way we're going to get to the desired result that we're looking for, or we're going to get to the desired goal that we're looking for. It can be a friend that you have been cool with for some years, and they are directly affecting your progress in life. And you need to have a conversation with them because you don't see any change happening. You've told them what you want and they're continuously holding you back or holding you down. So you need to tell them that it's time to end this friendship because you're on a path of growth, right? That's an example of something that may be tough to do and uncomfortable to do. But if you have to choose between having an uncomfortable conversation with someone that may be holding you back, or not having that conversation and keeping them in your life because you're scared to have a conversation and then you never get to where you're going to because you have to keep associating yourself with this person. If you got to choose between those two things, you're going to have to choose the one that's going to get you where you're trying to go, or else you're going to regret not having the conversation, and you're also going to regret that person still being around, being on BS, not growing with you, not progressing with you. You're going to regret it and you're going to grow to resent them. So you need to have those conversations like a mature person. They may not handle it well in the beginning. You may not be able to deliver it well. Work on the angles that you could use to deliver this conversation in the best way possible so that it doesn't turn into a big blow up or a big argument. Rehearse it if you got to, practice it if you have to. Jot down all the things that you need to say so that you're clear and level-headed. It could be a relationship that you need to end. Your girl isn't growing with you, she isn't progressing with you, she's holding you back, or whatever the case may be, whatever your reasoning may be. If that's how you truly feel and you truly think that this person is someone that you can no longer engage with, you need to have that uncomfortable conversation. Don't do it over text message. Sit them down like an adult, sit them down like a man, and talk to them face to face. It could be an uncomfortable conversation you got to have with yourself, where you look in the mirror and you telling yourself, yo, what's up, man? You nowhere near where you want to be in life. You're not doing the things that you said you was going to do this year. You put your New Year's resolution on hold. Like, what's going on? You never going to get to where you're trying to get to if you don't level up, if you don't put in the work, if you don't stick to the game plan, stick to the script. These could be conversations that you have with yourself. Point is, man, there are going to be times in your life where a conversation is going to have to be had, and there's going to be no other way around it, right? You could try to avoid the conversation, but what is that really doing? That's just delaying the process. Sometimes it's just what it is. We got to face it head on. We got to face the adversity head on. I'm not speaking to one direct type of conversation because there's so many different uncomfortable conversations you can have with somebody or you can have with yourself, but avoiding it ain't the way. Sometimes you got to sit that person down and really speak your mind in a respectful, peaceful manner. Something you need to do when you go through it and you actually have these type of conversations, right? You're gonna have to consider the other person's perspective. So whatever news you're about to deliver to this person that they may not be expecting, right? You don't know how they're gonna receive whatever it is you're about to tell them. You don't know how they're gonna process it, and you don't know what they're gonna respond with. So you gotta consider their perspective as well. Whenever you deliver or had a conversation that you haven't, don't get on a defense to whatever it is that they respond with or however it is they respond, right? So this is going to be news to this person. So keep that in mind and be open-minded to whatever they may respond with, however they may respond. Hopefully you talking to an open-minded individual, but that ain't always the case. So you got to be open-minded with whatever it is they may say and be willing to listen and hear them out. It's not necessarily saying that you got to change your stance, but you should be willing to hear them out and hear their perspective as well and be open-minded to the things that they say. And that's how growth happens. That's how progress happens. So just don't go into it one-sided with, no matter how it goes, I'm only gonna, this got to be the outcome. No matter what they say, this got to be the outcome. Like, go into it open-minded, because you may be able to see growth in that conversation. And if you see that the conversation is getting too heated, you see that it's not going in a positive direction, you see it taking a turn for the worse, it's going down a negative path, you got to be willing to take a break from that conversation or walk away from that conversation after you done stated your piece. Because the last thing you want it to turn into is a fight or an argument or a crash out session. Like, be willing to take a break, be willing to walk away from that conversation, put a pin in it if you didn't get to the conclusion that you was looking for. If you didn't come to a conclusion, be willing to put a pin in it and come back after you done cooled off, or y'all done cooled off. If it goes there, think about the words that you use. You want to use the word I more than you. When you having a tough conversation with someone and you continuously keep saying you did this, or you don't do this, or I don't like when you do these things, like, it's making them feel like the blame. It's making them feel like they're the ones that's, at fault. And so it's harder for them to receive the information that you're giving them, because now they feel like they're being attacked. Whereas if you're using the words I, like, I'm not liking how, I don't understand, I can't get with, you're now putting it on yourself. You're putting the onus on yourself. So they're not feeling as attacked. This is just some conversation game. Speak on your point of view. Use the words I. Use your perspective instead of bashing them, making them feel attacked for whatever the conversation may be. Again, this is very general. This is very vague, but it applies to a lot of different types of uncomfortable conversations that you might have to have with somebody. And also understand that you might have to agree to disagree. These type of conversations may not always end with a happy ending. They might not always end with both parties being satisfied or both parties being okay. These type of conversations may not always end that well if you are talking to somebody else and you're not having a conversation with yourself. So understand that you might have to get to a point where we just have to agree to disagree and walk away and go our separate ways. That can be an outcome. It doesn't have to be a direct conclusion or a specific conclusion. It don't have to be that. They may not be willing to see your point of view, and you got to be willing to accept that. But I just wanted to say, don't shy away from these type of things, bro. One thing, as a man, you got to face certain things head on. Can't avoid it, can't run from it, can't beat around the bush. Say it with your chest. Have these tough conversations. Is going to do everybody a favor in the end, instead of you holding these things in and letting this resentment build up inside of you, or letting this fear build up inside of you. You just pushing this conversation down, or you're pushing this thing down that you just want to get off your chest, but you're scared to talk about it, or you don't know how to talk about it. You got to face this type of stuff head on, bro. It's growth on the other side of these conversations. It's progress on the other side of these conversations, man. They tough. That's the thing. They tough to have. Nobody wants to have these uncomfortable conversations because they tough. But you got to face it head on, bro. I just had to get that off my chest on this morning. If this video helped at all, hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the Patreon. Join the Patreon in the description below. Give me a like, man. Give me a share if you know anybody that could use this information, bro. And I got more videos on the way. Peace.